Mom and Dad and us, we moved out to Colerain Township, had a couple of acres. When I was in junior high school, we raised 1,000 chickens. Yeah, we sold them every morning, buddy. Boots on into there, clean them up, and find the dead ones, and throwing them out. Yeah, I used to go to school with chicken crap on my feet. Colerain was kind of country then, so it was, there were other people coming in like that. Graduated in 1962 from Colerain High School. Participated in football and baseball. We did not have wrestling. I didn't even know there was wrestling. We decided my uncle was a police officer at the city, and he was also did police work at the University of Cincinnati. So he contacted me one day. I was working for $50 a week at Hutch Sporting Goods. And I was dipping shoulder pads and knee pads, so I never got away from athletics,
You were dipping them?
I was painting them. My uncle called Mr. Hutch, the owner of the store or the company, and said, hey, he's got to get out of there. I talked to Coach Studley, the football coach at University of Cincinnati, and they would like for him to come down and talk to him about being a football manager. Then Glenn Sample, who was one of the best instructors I ever had in the physical education department, came to me. I was very small, I wasn't very big, I probably weighed about 130. And he said, hey, I need somebody to wrestle at 118. I said, do what? I didn't know what he was talking about. So I did. I went out and it was the hardest thing I ever did in my life. The hardest thing I've ever did. So I did. I wasn't any good, but I learned. After 2 years, I had to stop because I had more involvement with the football program, and they started paying my way. So I could not turn that down. So I told Coach Sample, I said, I can't do it anymore. I said, okay. So I started thinking, okay, what are you gonna do? Because I was coaching football also and track. So I said, holy cow! I was working on my master's degree, so it was rough. So we practiced, Doug. You'll like this. We practiced, and you know where the old automotive shop was? Back way in the back of Forest Park High School. That's where we practiced, and because there was no automotive shop. Yeah, it was fun. We did pretty good. I mean, it wasn't we weren't killing people, but we were competitive.
For me, wrestling was actually the big catalyst for helping me mature and grow. It's very quiet, very laid back to myself, kind of small guy, and a lot of the guys that I met, yourself, Jeff Brooks, Joel Mast, the Gwinners, Cats, you guys kind of took me under your wing and helped me grow and mature, broke me out of my shell, made me the man that I am today, and a lot of that credit also goes to Westy and Noltemeyer as being our mentors. So I owe a lot of who I am today to not just Westy and Nolt, but all you guys who I knew back then in that time.
So I was a freshman at Forest Park High School, and I was dreaming of being the replacement for Joe Morgan for the Big Red Machine, the Cincinnati Reds, and I got cut, the first cut they made for the Forest Park High School baseball team that freshman year, and I was just devastated. And I was looking in the gym. They were having an indoor tryout down on the gym floor, and I was on the second floor. And I'm just feeling miserable, all my shattered dreams of Big Red Machine glory dashed. And this arm wraps itself around my shoulder, and I look to the left, and there's this guy in a mustache, and he's saying, you ever thought about trying out for the wrestling team? You might make a good 119. And that was Westy, that was Ed Westy Westerkamp, and I joined the team the next week, and I was on the team for the next 4 years. Best thing that ever happened to me in high school.
That's funny. I remember that. I did that to many kids, I did it to many of them. I was a recruiter, buddy.
For me, He was a role model. He was a friend. He was an example. I appreciated that he was right there on the mat, not just telling us what to do, but working with us, showing us the moves. And just that whole experience gave me confidence. You know how many teenagers, they go through school with their hang-ups, and I was just one of those guys as well that had my struggles with who I was and what will I become. But through the wrestling experience, it helped me to have confidence in who I am as a person, to face challenges and know that I could work it through. And that's something I carried with me through the rest of my life.
I like coaching wrestling because I like the sport, and secondly, I never got any grief from parents, because if you beat the other guy on our team for the wrestle-off, you'd wrestle. I mean, there was no arguing.
I was a wrestlette all 4 years in high school. It was a great team to be a part of. A lot of my closest friends were wrestlettes. We got to spend a lot of time together, especially at long invitationals that would last all day Saturday. We would decorate lockers before matches, and while the guys were weighing in and getting ready, we were often taking curlers out of our hair and getting ready for the matches. We had jobs during the meets. We would time keep. I would often keep score. And then if it was a meet with multiple mats going at the same time, one of the wrestlette jobs was to be stationed at the mat with a rolled up towel to throw in to let the ref know that the time was up, because they couldn't use the buzzers. Now, Westy wasn't just a wrestling coach. He taught most of us how to drive. So one time going to a wrestling match in Dayton, carload of wrestlettes, we knew we had to get on I-75, so we got on I-75. And when we crossed the Ohio River, we realized that there's a north and a south I-75. So a driving lesson as part of being a wrestlette.
Those guys would try and put those sweatsuits on and stuff like that.
Close the locker, turn the showers
on. Yeah, and I hated that. I didn't like them to do that, and it's illegal to do now. You can't do that, and you only get one chance to weigh in now. And if you don't make it, you just don't wrestle. So I mean, I heard stories about some of the guys going to one of those sweat places and getting them sweat boxes. And I had a meeting. I said, you guys need to stop doing that. I said, that's not healthy for you. And hey, this is high school. I want you to have fun. And if you win, great. If you lose, well, work harder the next time. So that was my philosophy on that. But yeah, I didn't like that. And making weight was tough.
It was tough.
It was tough. I'm not going to mention this kid's name, but Drew Hunter got hurt, okay? He was a pretty good wrestler at 138. So I had to put this other young man out there, and I don't even remember the school, but it must have been pretty good. So this young man was pretty scared, and because he never wrestled, so he went out there, and I mean, he got pinned like in 6 seconds. So he comes walking off the mat, and he comes over. I said, hey, nice try, man. What can you say? And there's a picture in the yearbook of his father's face up in the stand. It's just, oh no, what happened? I'm not going to mention this kid's name.
Wait, you mean this guy? Hey, that's Terry Aberray.
I got cut from the basketball team, so that was why I tried out for wrestling. No, he had better judgment than that.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I did. It was great exercise. I was probably the best shape I've ever been in my life, but I can't say that I was necessarily good at it, as we'll get to in a minute. We already had you at 126, and we had Dave Oder at 132, who was also really good. So Westy needed somebody to put at 138, and I was the next warm body in line. So I'm pretty sure I still have the Ohio high school record for the fastest pin on the receiving end. I did wrestle again my junior year and did a little better.
So you won something?
I did win a few that year, and then I didn't do it my senior year. Kind of figured out that they were trying to tell me something.
And then I went to officiating. That just called me. I saw those guys out there and joined the association. And I started out doing junior high reserve matches. I got to referee the state for 5 years. I got a whole bunch of regionals and a whole bunch of sectionals, so it was fun. That was cool. That was my goal in my educational career, to be an athletic director. You're responsible for the entire athletic program and, responsible for hiring coaches. It was beautiful. I mean, great kids. They wanted me to coach a wrestling team, and I just didn't think I could get down on a mat anymore. I got to thank my wife for taking good care of me. She's always been there, and when I had the cancer, my son, they've been real supportive, and my dog. She's been very supportive of me, and it just, yeah.
What's your dog's name?
Sadie Jane, yeah, little hillbilly dog.
You didn't mess around. You couldn't.
No,
fake it.
no. There was no room to hide. You start playing the edge, and the referee's going to say, "Son, you're stalling. Warning. Son, you're stalling." 1 point for the other guy. If you do it 3 times, or 4th time, you're out. So, yeah, there's nowhere to hide. But that's what I liked about it, because it was, like you say, an individual sport, but it was a team sport.
I've always been interested by the history of wrestling. I mean, it's really one of the oldest sports,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. You either wrestle or you run, That's the 2 main sports. We wrestled on gym mats with a wrestling cover. We did not have a roll-out mat. Yeah. That's how new the program was. And a couple years after I left Cole Rain finally got it, and they had some pretty good wrestlers come through there. So I would say I was on the cusp of wrestling here in the area. So it helps your self-confidence. It's like any sport. If you work hard at it, you're going to be successful. You're going to win some matches, and there's no other feeling like that. I mean, did you ever have any other feeling like that? If you beat somebody, because it's just you and him, and 2 coaches sitting in a chair hollering at you, telling you what to do, and you can't hear with those headgears on. It just makes the coaches feel better. It's a good sport. I enjoyed it. I mean, there were guys at Forest Park that probably had no business even stepping on the mat, but they did it because they wanted to, and I kept bugging them, and they did it. And I still talk to some of them that never won a match, but they stuck it out, and they got a letter, and it's good. It was good for everybody.